Well, viewers, good morning, and here is Headline Roundup. And I'm in the studio with my fellow co-host. My name is Ikoku Chidozie Kimba.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ijoma Udumudu.
I'm Michael Pepple.
Well, on a very, very royal note, after the Olojo Festival, the Onion of Ife has come to tell Nigerians that it's a beautiful future coming their way. And we must actually acknowledge the fact that the Onion of Ife has seen the lineup of the candidates and is appreciating the front runner, who is Alhaji Atiku for his early, giving Nigerians an early peep into his plan. And I think that's an encouraging one, because everyone knows what's Olojo Festival, which actually depicts the beginning of creation. So I think that's a good one coming for our candidates, Alhaji Atiku, because who else is a candidate if not Alhaji Atiku?
I mean, it is visible in the words of one of our former lawmakers. It is visible to the blind and audible to the deaf that this government has failed, and that Nigeria really needs to be restored. I mean, who better to rescue Nigeria, like you said, than Alhaji Atiku Abubakar?
Yeah, and there's a unifier as well. You know, he ticks all the boxes for someone that a royal father would endorse.
Yeah, interestingly, the Onion of Ife just went to speak with his ancestors and the spirits. And I guess the message is that
from beyond.
From beyond. and they're taking it on that the only one that has an A in his name is an alpha one. Yeah. So I think Atiku ticks all the boxes for Nigeria.
Creation of a new Nigeria.
I'm telling you, exactly. Yeah. I think one has just reading between the lines when these royal fathers speak in parables. But this one is beyond parables, and it's giving us a
message from our heroes past.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Well, what do we have this morning?
Well, I mean, I'm excited as usual. I don't know. There are new stories. There's a very interesting story, obviously, with the PDP Presidential Campaign Council. They're developing stories. But I more on that when we return from this short break.
Growing up as a little boy, we were told every day that we were the leaders of tomorrow. Good roads, stable power supply, good education, job opportunities, political inclusion, better health care, reduction of the cost of living were some of the things we were promised in tomorrow. We were so excited about the hope we had been fed with about tomorrow. But days went by, years went by, and tomorrow never came. Turned out there was never really a plan for tomorrow. It was all a lie to keep us in their mental slavery. Because with each day that goes by, I see my country being stripped of her glory. But we know better now. We are more aware now. It is time to take our country back from these hijackers who keep recycling themselves. If this tomorrow must come, we will have to create it ourselves. But this time, with someone we can trust. Someone who understands our pain. And so I call on every Nigerian youth. Come 2023, come out and vote. Because our vote is our power. When you vote, vote for a man we can trust. Vote for a breath of fresh air. Vote Atiku Abubakar for president.
Welcome back, and this is still Headline Roundup. Well, I think I'm still feeling a little bit under the weather. Probably there's no rain today.
Oh, it's nice. It's nice that you're feeling under the weather. I mean, in some other places where we have some other types of weather, we have May weather.
Yeah,
good one.
Yeah, we have May weather and Deji Olatunji.
Yeah, I think that's why I try to say I'm under the weather, because last time we saw weather was the money bank man.
Yeah.
And I think everyone in Nigeria needs the money, though.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to allow that. So Deji actually needs the money.
Yes.
Yeah. Looking at what's happening with Tyson Fury and
Anthony Joshua.
Yeah. One would think that Nigerians will make it kind of light up coming in the boxing arena. But Tyson Fury is saying, no, I'm backing out.
After everything.
I mean, like I said,
you're really scaring some people.
I
It
mean,
was a good banter though for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They enjoyed themselves.
Yeah.
Well, I think I honestly thought he was being serious at some point.
Yeah.
Well, Tyson Fury, if you know him, the gypsy man, that's who he is. He comes out at you, plays with your psyche, and then pulls
out.
Yeah.
I think that's why we saw Anthony Joshua insisting that, okay, if you really want this fight, talk to my management. It
Just
is.
like Atiku.
He even did a freestyle about it on his live. AJ. Yeah.
Just like Atiku, AJ likes due process. Not to my managers.
Yeah.
Don't come hitting all the banks and
Making noise.
All right, let's take a look at the headlines making rounds this morning. Buhari, Asura cabals plot Keyamu's removal as campaign spokesperson. There are reports that President Muhammadu Buhari and some cabals at the Asura have requested for the removal of Festus Keyamo as the APC campaign spokesman. Recall that Keyamo had admitted on Channels TV on Sunday that Nigerians were facing hunger and would need someone like Tinubu to rescue them. His statement was like an attack on the same APC Keyamo speaks for. Police parades millionaire kidnapper John Leon. The Bayelsa State Police Command paraded the suspected kidnap kingpin John Ikechukwu Ewa alias John Lion. He was paraded alongside other members of his kidnapping gang at the police officers' mess in Yenigua. 3 of his gang members were paraded with him. 3 killed, many injured in Kaduna community. The Benin Gwari Emirates Progressive Union has again lamented the constant attacks on Gwari community members in Kaduna State. The union alleged that bandits killed 3 persons and kidnapped 22 others in Benin Gwari local government area of the state. In a statement issued by the chairman of BEPU, Ishaq Usman Kasai, the union expressed pain over the constant killing and abduction of locals in Benin Gwari LGA this farming season. PDP campaign, Saraki, Anyim, Shekarau, others appointed as special advisors to Atiku. As the 2023 election campaign kicks off on Wednesday, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has appointed the immediate past president of the Senate, Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki, as the special envoy and the former Senate President, Pius Anyim, as special advisor. In a statement made by his media advisor, Paul Ibe, on Monday, Atiku explained that the key appointments of special advisors were aimed at strengthening his presidential campaign team. FG withdraws statement ordering VCs to reopen schools. The federal government, through the National Universities Commission, Monday afternoon withdrew its circular which ordered vice-chancellors, pro-chancellors and governing councils to reopen federal universities. The NUC in a circular had directed all vice-chancellors, pro-chancellors and chairmen of governing councils of federal universities to reopen universities. The development had, however, been greeted with criticism. UN chief calls for an end to nuclear blackmail and risk of humanitarian Armageddon. ICC starts trial against Central African Republic rebel leader. Other big fish commanders should also be a priority. Oh wow, so there are rumors that Buhari and members of the cabal are planning to remove Festus Keyamo as APC campaign spokesperson. I mean, this comes after his channel's interview where he said that a lot of Nigerians are living in hunger, basically berating the same government, the same administration that he is a part of.
Funny enough and interestingly, the cabals are back again. We used to hear about the cabals during the Abakari era, and now the cabals are back again. But well, in every rumor,
there's an element of truth.
Exactly. And Keyamo actually might be facing some kind of fire here and trying to deflect Nigerians from seeing the whole truth. But knowing the pattern and the trend of APC, surely the truth will come out very soon.
I mean, if I remember correctly, in 2019, Festus Keyamo was the same person that marketed General Muhammadu Buhari to Nigerians.
Exactly.
And then we're seeing you in trying to market yet another candidate, marketing the candidates that you marketed in 2019.
Exactly.
And so you wonder, what's the credibility of the marketer? Why should we trust you? Why should we believe you? You know?
I was just about to say that exactly. I mean, it goes to show the incompetence within this current administration, where even those that are quote-unquote spokesperson for the campaign, they don't even know what they're talking about. and like, even if they're trying to say something, they are just throwing things around and hoping something sticks. Like you said, saying a lot of Nigerians are living in hunger. Who caused it? They caused it. The current administration caused it. And you're like, why are we surprised? This is the APC government. Anything can happen with these people. Like,
anyone knowing Keyamo and his history, even from coming from the Bola Ige saga, where he was actually indicted that he knew about the whole incident before it happened. But looking at what he did with actually the ASU strike, asking Nigerians on TV to go and beg ASU, you will see someone who is actually not coherent with actually what needs to be done. He's actually like throwing jabs at anyone and whoever. But the critical thing that needs to be done is not done. You are the junior minister for labor, for crying out loud. And all you can do is what? Defend and defend. You should be bringing to Nigerians why you should be the minister of labor and not the spokesperson of APC, because before being the spokesperson, you're
first minister.
You're first minister. And I see that the APC administration don't prioritize anything when it comes to governance. All they do is just pick whatever they feel that is just a narrative to just distract the people, and that's it.
As you said, he's a junior minister, and I think sometimes he overreaches, because some weeks ago, I remember when he said the federal government can borrow money to pay ASU, but they can borrow money to run election, they can borrow money to steal and keep borrowing and keep doing all.
That's where their priority lies. Yeah. It's not actually in the education of our children. It's not actually paying the workers. And you can see that the narrative they are trying to throw up and down is just to deflect Nigerians from seeing that their campaign council is full of faults, is flawed, and cannot actually represent the will of the people.
But then it is very hard to, at this point in time, with the level of awareness that citizens have now, it is very difficult to come out with lies, to come out with untruths. So I think what we saw is Festus Keyamo in a moment of truth, one of the few he has told, since we've seen him in the political scene. And then when you're looking at it, it's very difficult for a person to not speak, even despite what side you're in, irrespective of the side you're on, to speak without indicting the current administration, because the situation on ground is what it is. And even they understand that Nigeria needs rescuing. They understand the depths that Nigeria has fallen to. And I think the problem he's having is, selling another member of the same party with similar track record to the sitting administration to us. I think that's a huge challenge.
Yeah,
the job I don't advocate Festus Keyamo.
Yeah,
it's not an easy job he's doing.
Well, IJ, on a comic truth, you cannot actually replace a Festus Keyamo with Elijah Muhammad. It's obvious that Keyamo has to go back to school, and the school he's going to. Lai Muhammad's school. So, for you not to understand that the reason why I think
it was easier for Lai Muhammad because they were not in power, so they didn't have anything. All they had to campaign against was change that the previous administration or the current administration was failing.
What is Lai Muhammad?
But no, I'm saying that it was easier for Lai Muhammad to have gotten away with some of the statements he made when the campaign was ongoing. But it's not easy for a Festus Keyamo, because they are the ones in government. They are the ruling party. They are the ones in power. They are the ones who have the power to change the situation.
One would think that as a learned silk, you should actually be of a noble character. You should come to the table with equity. But a person of Festus Keyamo has ridiculed the son.
He was trending yesterday as well, senior advocate of. I don't know. I don't want to use that explicit.
Well, let's be careful, because the NBCA is actually going about shopping for who to actually take as the scapegoat.
Allegedly. All right. We're looking at the Bayelsa State Police Command, and they've paraded the kidnap kingpin Leon. Wow. I mean, I think when I first heard this story, when this story was first broke, I sat down and I thought about it. And I mean, it seemed that in a country where, even the spokesperson of the APC campaign has said that Nigerians are living in hunger, in a country where we have inflation rates as high as 20.5%, in a country where we are living, in abject poverty, that we have people who have been empowered, who have been empowered by the APC administration. And you wonder, who are the people that are empowered? These are thugs. These are, in Lagos State, for example, we've seen thugs rejoicing and endorsing the candidacy of the APC presidential candidate. And you look at them and you see that these people are the ones that are enjoying the dividends of democracy. They are the ones that are enjoying from the country. They are the ones that are being empowered. So the APC government seems to have empowered thugs and fraudsters.
Well, IJ, look at the crime rates from 2015 to date. There's really been a skyrocketing of these crimes. And looking at banditry, kidnapping, which actually Lion is involved in, and those who are actually said to be their mentors. Look at Shetima, who Karibiru Sokoto was found in his premises. You would wonder what exactly is going on with the APC government. All what you see is what you see them backing criminals. When you try to speak up, they find a way. You just watch how this story is going to end. And because Nigerians are watching, and because this is going to actually speak a lot about our judiciary and criminal system, because you cannot just be a kidnapper amongst these same people who call themselves leaders, because who exactly is the backing for these people? Lion has spoken. We have kidnappers who are still in prison, who are still actually sitting down in their houses enjoying the benefits of this government.
And this is a sympathizer. This is an APC supporter. He is an APC supporter.
Yeah, it's quite scary as well.
Yes.
He was so close to the Bayelsa State government house. Like, it's scary that this kind of thing can actually be happening in this country. And it just goes to say again, that when we as people, youth, see people flaunt money, we shouldn't really envy them. Because he as well was, quote unquote, a motivator.
Mike, I call that beautiful nonsense. Because that is why we must all do what? Get our hands into the debt. Bring out the gold out of it. Don't just envy anyone because you see them lavishing money everywhere. Because Lion has been in the public face for a long time. You can see the comments, his comment section.
This is another hush puppy.
Yeah, you can see his comment section. People are praising him, and nobody's asking him the critical question.
Where is the source of his wealth?
Where is the source of his wealth?
I mean, it also follows. I mean, I think he would have found out a long time ago. If you're making that much money, I expect that our tax officers should be, they should be worried about where this person's tax is being paid. Did you just say our tax office?
Who told you where his wealth is coming from?
No, if I say you're spending a lot of money, of course I want you to pay taxes. And then in trying to get you to pay tax, I can see that
in this same country that we had a bullion van going
into
a politician's house. Have you asked him where his source of money is coming from? Have you asked him where his certificate is coming from? Have you asked him where his identity is coming from? Well, Lion is just a little fish in this whole aquarium of corruption that has bedeviled Nigeria through this APC-led administration.
All right, we have the people of Benin, Gwari, and Kaduna State, where who have lost three people. So 3 people have been killed. 22 other persons abducted, with many left injured. And I mean, this comes against the backdrop of the federal government saying that it's winning the war against insecurity, and that if you remember, they said Nigerians should give them 3 months to end this. And within these 3 months, I'd like to say that after this statement, that we've seen situations like this happen. We've seen this attack. We've seen these people who have lost 3 people, 22 people abducted, and many others injured. We've also seen a 7 senators convoy being attacked and his aides getting killed. And this is worrisome, and it's more so worrisome because elections are coming up in 2023. What does this mean for us? Are we secure enough to vote? I mean, if you check now, there's a very high demand for bulletproof cars. And there's actually a very high demand. And then you wonder if we are really secure. Is the battle against insecurity really being won? Is it really being won?
Are you done? Well, I'm not done yet. I have a message for Nigerians. In the voice of the former president of Goodluck Jonathan, don't elect killers. That's what I have to tell you.
That's a very strong message.
Yeah, don't just try it.
So, okay.
But then this is like we're always. I said this when we spoke about the attack on the governor's convoy and the senator's convoy. Beg your pardon. We are going to keep hearing stories like this, and sadly enough, we are still hearing stories like this. 3 months after 3 months, they probably say, "Okay, just give us a bit of time because of campaign. We're doing blah blah blah. Maybe when the next administration, in their own wild dreams, when the next administration comes in, they'll definitely tackle the issue." This is clear that this, like, government, they're very incompetent. And like you said, Kashim Shettima, who I kind of like, but it's quite obvious that once there's evidence, you can't dispute it.
Yeah.
When someone like that has been found in your home and premises and was arrested here, you can't dispute that fact that you are actually a sympathizer.
The truth is just that this is a government of propaganda. No matter what you do, you can't take it away from them. They came in on a bedrock of propaganda. So you would not actually think
be sustained.
They will have to sustain their... You know what happens to liars? When you tell a lie,
you tell another one to cover it up.
So, and you don't even take memories of what you said earlier on. So this is just a trend for
I want to ask, and this is for us really. Tomorrow is the 28th of September. Campaigns are starting on the 28th. What does the APC have to campaign with?
They have a disjointed campaign council. That's what they have for Nigerians. They have insecurity for Nigerians. They have students. They just want the students just sit at home. And they have inflation rates going that high. They have people who are hungry.
So what are they campaigning with?
They have insensitivity
what do they
to the
have to
plight of
offer
the people.
Nigerians?
That's what they have for Nigerians. They need to tell you how much they need to take the dollar from 700 to probably 1,000. So probably your bread will be selling for 1,500, 2,000 by the end of February when the election will be taking place. So.
Well, still on the campaign, ahead of tomorrow's inauguration of the Presidential Campaign Council for the Atiku Okowa, we have the appointment of new special advisors, among who are fellow aspirants or people who aspired for the presidential position.
Giving a smile already.
Yes, Saraki and Pius. These were two people who are also aspirants in this last presidential primaries. And it's interesting to see that, they've been carried along. There were a lot of interesting appointments. The former chairman of the party, which is Secondus, appointed as technical advisor. I mean, the PDP seems to have carried everybody along. I mean, looking at the campaign council, the list of advisors, it seems that nobody was left out. Everybody, it's like all hands are, being put on deck to make sure that next year is going to be an election to remember.
Yeah, when you talk about a party that knows what it's doing, you're looking at the PDP. We're looking at an administration who is already ready to kick this administration out of government. That's what PDP is going to do. They're already ready. You can see the composure of this campaign council. Everyone is carried along. The inclusivity is glaring to all to see. So I'm looking at Atiku is going to be having a team who actually knows what to do and how to do it. So look at Saraki. Saraki is a very brilliant
young man
lawmaker who was actually the president of the
president,
Senate. Exactly. Look at Anyim, Pius Anyim.
Senate president.
So Secondus was actually chairman of the
bringing people with capacity.
And he's from River State as well. So if you're losing one leg, you're gaining another, because at the end of the day, I don't see what's happening.
I don't think there's any leg.
No, I'm just saying. I don't think there's any crisis in the party. Because it's politics at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The people of River State will definitely vote PDP. That's clear as daylight.
Yeah,
and we should take it from a Rivers man.
No, I don't want to say it.
Because he knows his people are PDP already.
Yes.
So he's just only painting the obvious truth. Looking at the composure, like I said, right from the campaign chairman to the DG, to
very strategic.
It's very strategic. This is what PDP is known for.
I mean, I think I'm particularly happy with Buhari Saraki because, even after losing the elections, he has still been working for the party. I mean, we saw him in Osun State for the governorship elections. I mean, he's been committed to the party. I don't think he's much of a noisemaker. He's been working and been committed. Yeah. And I think this appointment, as well as others, is a really good move for the party.
All PDP has to do now is just keep closing up the ranks and get Nigerians to know exactly that this is a plan. Everybody will come on board.
Even the Ibrahim Shekarau was also appointed as an SA, which is really good.
Like
everybody carried along.
Kano carried along. So Nigerians are being carried along. So
everybody's well represented.
Exactly. That's not just like what we have in the APC or the Labour Party or the NNPP, where you have one man running the show. I've told you severally, PDP is built around people and not just a person. So you will see the beautiful nature of politics that will be coming from PDP coming in this campaign. You're going to see how free flow is going to be for PDP. PDP is going to be speaking to the people and not just going there speaking about issues though, and they won't be talking about the abusive nature where APC comes at every election year, just abused. And you see the Oshomole dancing around the caricature. But what we want to discuss is
people running around the field,
exactly.
running around the stadium.
What we have in this election for the PDP is going to be issue-based.
Yes.
And that is what Atiku has been painting. Let us unify this country. We have been divided along several fault lines. And we don't need it at this time. What we need is unity. Because you can see other countries trying to mend every bridge. And what do we have? An administration who has left us in shambles and still telling us that they don't care.
No. I mean, talking about shambles, let's look at the federal government reordering or withdrawing the statements directing VCs to open schools. I don't know, this comes, we're looking at this in the context that ATSU is still in court. They are appealing the judgment by the National Industrial Court that's directing them to return to schools. And they're appealing this, and I think Femi Falana is filing this suit on their behalf for a stay of execution on that order and what they're appealing. And so you wonder what the legal implications are, you know, if the federal government is directing the VCs to open school. And then you want to ask, if the VCs are opening the school, you can force them to open the school? Can you force the lecturers to come back? Because it seems the government is shying away from the obvious truth and what they are actually supposed to do. You're trying to cajole the lecturers into going back to school. You refused to meet their demands, and you took them to court. And when that's not working, you're directing the VCs to reopen schools. So they reopen the schools, and what next?
Well, it's good that Nigerians are seeing the confused administration of the Buhari-led government. And one would ask, you want to open the schools. Are you going to force the lecturers to teach the students? Are you going to force the students to go to class and not meet lecturers? Because you can force the schools to be opened. Well, it's in your power. But now, are you also going to tell them to teach forcefully? Are you going to bring... We're actually facing a draconian administration here. We are facing a tyrannical one who actually believes in force rather than mediation, dialogue. I don't even think they even understand the principle of conflict resolution to talk about it at large. Because you can see one who will just say decree 4 all over again. Because if you understand what is decree 4, it's a kind of a decree that was brought in by the 1983 Buhari-led regime. You cannot force and coerce people at this time. This is democracy crying out. Dialogue with these people. If you have come with a fair bargain on table, these are learned people. They would come on the table with you and they will reason along with you. I
mean, like somebody said, the body language, it's been the body language really. And I think ASU feels like...
Are you talking about body language or body odor? Because what ASU is perceiving from here are people that are insensitive to their plight. And you're looking at students listening to this kind of... Are these how we want to mentor our youth?
I mean, someone said they don't want to return to a classroom where and write exams under a lecturer who is being forced to go back to school. You don't want to learn under that kind in that sort of environment. You don't want to take any exams set by the disgruntled lecturer. I mean, nobody wants to do that.
If we're in a nation where psychological assessment is being done before you lay your hands on any work, you will find out that these lecturers are not ready and they are not prepared. They will actually take it out on these students. It's just like you having you're a doctor, you have an issue at home, you get on your car, you have a traffic issue. Now you pop into the surgery.
They haven't paid you for like 6 months.
They haven't paid you for like 6 months.
Of course, he's going to forget something inside.
Wow. Nigerians, you cannot just keep playing with Nigerians this way. You're toiling the future of our nation. Because you keep claiming that the future of tomorrow are the youth. And these are the youths that are coming to become president tomorrow, become governor tomorrow, become leaders in their different spheres. And now you are teaching them how not to be insensitive to the plight of the citizens.
It's indeed very sad that education that is supposed to be the bedrock of a society is being toyed with in such a manner. It's very sad.
And you have a Festus Kayamo still going as a spokesperson of the APC. I think they should actually kick him. Legal counsel would actually look at him and say, ASU strike?
We've struck a wrong chord with him, but it is sad, and I'm looking at it from the angle that October is when the new students are supposed to resume, And you wonder what happened to the backlog of students. Students have written JAMB this year and they've not resumed. The people who wrote last year, some of them are still at home. We've had, there was a long strike in 2020. We are seeing this long strike 2 years later in 2022, and their backlog, there's students that are waiting that have not even progressed. They've not moved to the next level. And what you're seeing now is this new set of students who have written WAEC and written JAMB and are supposed to resume school by October. And what do you have? These people are going to be forced to go into private institutions because they will feel like this is where they will get, this is where they can school. They can even get admission, because right now it's not even a matter of remaining in school. Some of these people have not even started, despite having written the exams.
You are mentioning private schools. We are all aware of how exorbitant you need to go into a private school and know exactly how much they pay on school fees. Before, the backdrop of our education is actually very, very sorry state, because we used to have public schools offer quality education in this country. Private schools were actually a mockery before in this country, but now we have, what do we have? We have this same APC government leading people into not actually going to school anymore. People are now looking for alternatives. You can't even travel out of the country because where do you get the money from? And your parents. The
flight tickets right now at 1.5 million, and that used to be the amount to pay for fees.
Oh, wow.
For abroad university, if you're going abroad to study, that used to be the amount you pay for the fees, for tuition fees. And right now we have that amount for just the flight tickets. It is a very sad one.
Well, like you mentioned, October 1, I hope the rallies that the NANS promised us, we actually be going to everywhere APC is holding its rally. Well, because they are the party in government.
The president, the one good thing is that the president, this is going to be one of those rare occasions where the president actually speaks to the citizens. Exactly. So, October 1 is one of those few occasions, and be that as may, we're looking forward to seeing or to hearing what the president has to say, especially as, campaign starts on the 28th. We're going to see, I'm hoping that we'll hear more from...
Thank God you say hear more.
I don't think there's been a communication gap between the federal government and the people. So any attempt to bridge that gap is appreciated.
The people are tired. They're not even ready to listen to Buhari anymore.
It seems that way.
All they need is what? They need their Nigeria back. And a new Nigeria is coming. And the only one that can give us a new Nigeria is Atiku. And he has a competent vice who actually has done so well for himself and the people of Delta State. That is all Nigerians need at this point. All this crying back and forth will end once an Atiku is back in government.
All right, we'll go on a short break now, and a lot has been said and done. We'll go on a short break because we need to cool off. And when we return, we'll be looking at the foreign news. Just stay with us.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Welcome aboard Flight 2023 Atiku Okowa 2023. I have my co-pilot here with me, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, keeping track on all navigation systems. Our destination is a united Nigeria. Right now, we're cruising at 2022 feet above sea level. Before we arrive at our destination, let me give you a brief update on what to expect at our destination. Number 1. The temperature is going to be hot on security issues. 2, the people are going to be better educated, and the educational system and healthcare will be accessible to every citizen. 3, the economy is going to be thriving and booming. And of course, there'll be true federalism. This and many more to be expected for a united and prosperous Nigeria. So sit back and relax, and before you know it, if we all join hands together, we shall arrive at the new united Nigeria we all dream of soon enough. My name is Atiku Abubakar. As one, we can get it done.
This nation for the first time is most divided like never before. This nation for the first time stands in a place and position of its greatest challenges, perhaps since the Civil War. This is the most challenging period in the economy of our nation. This is the most challenging period in the security, infrastructure or statue of our nation. This is the most challenging situation in almost every facet of the unity of this nation. And there is no one man, as far as the current permutation, the current arrangement is concerned, that is most positioned to salvage and to save the situation like Atiku Abubakar. I tell you the truth, we all know the presidential aspirants that are out there. By experience, Atiku is far and above every one of them. He has been an elected governor, he has been a vice president for 8 years, and so many other experiences that he's bringing to board. None of them can boast of that experience. None of them possesses that kind of experience coming into this election. He is the one man who has told us he will unify this country, and we've seen his antecedents. He has friends across the length and breadth of this country like none of those presidential aspirants do. He is a man who has connected well with every Nigerian. He's not a bigot. He's not a tribalist. He's a man who knows nobody after your creed or tribe. He's a man who knows you as a Nigerian. Atiku is a nationalist. Atiku is a patriot. This is the truth of the matter. This is the kind of man that the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, is presenting to Nigerians. And I can assure you, come 2023, Nigerians will live to celebrate. Nigerians will live to be happy with themselves that a man has come to save Nigeria, that Atiku Abubakar has come to save Nigeria, because that has been in the core of his heart. That has been his heart cry for all these decades, for all these years that he has sought to be the president of this country. And I assure you, he will unite warring factions of this country. He will bring about the security of this country. He will bring about the economic development of this nation, and all Nigerians will be proud. Today, Nigeria has become a laughing stock in the scheme of things, even on the African continent. We used to be the giant of Africa. We used to be the leader of Africa. But all of a sudden, we've become the laughing stock of Africa. Atiku will change that narrative. Atiku will change that story. Atiku is the best man. He is the right man. He is the man positioned to take this nation to its glory land.
As one, we can get it done.
Welcome back to Headline Roundup. And on the foreign scene, we'll be starting with Central African Republic. The ICC, International Crime Court, started a case, a trial into Mohammed Abdul Khani, a former Seleka commander for war crimes and crimes against humanity. I mean, it seems to be like a normal thing in Africa where rebel leaders are usually tried. But coming to our own country, a lot of these crimes have been committed. Personally, I see what happened at the NSAS protest as a clear war crime and crimes against humanity, as unarmed citizens who came out to protest their fundamental human rights were shot without one shot being fired from their own side. And what you have to say about it?
I mean, first of all, the extrajudicial killings, during the tenure of General T.Y. Buratai, it was a lot. There were a lot of extrajudicial killings by soldiers. So, and we saw the president appointing or nominating General T.Y. Buratai as well as other service chiefs to become non-career diplomats or non-career ambassadors. And we know what Article 29 of the Vienna Convention says. It provides for diplomats to be, they're not allowed. It provides that diplomats cannot be prosecuted. They have some sort of immunity. And many argued at that time that this was probably a move by the president to protect T.Y. Buratai as well as other service chiefs who had clear cases of crimes against humanity.
Looking at Buratai, actually, one would remember and recall the issue with the Shiites, because where it was claimed that actually you touch a general's chest, more will die. So we're looking at, even it was during Buratai's time, that a jet actually fired on a village and innocent people were killed. So we're looking at...
This qualify as crimes against humanity.
Exactly. So you cannot just go into a community. Even under the same led T.Y. Buratai's command, people were killed in Anambra, in Abia State. The Operation Python Dance.
Yes.
And all this dancing around killing innocent people. actually something you could call a genocidal approach to all dealing with the citizens. And ICC was looking at rebels. I think they should beam their searchlights on Nigeria and actually bring these people to account.
That's what we're saying. It seems like they had preempted that ICC was going to come in, for these cases, and that's prompted President Buhari's nomination for these individuals as, non-career ambassadors to give them some sort of immunity.
I'm looking at diplomatic breach here, because you cannot kill someone and hide under the covers of a diplomat.
But it is what it is. What do we do about this?
But can these nominations be withdrawn?
That is what I'm looking at, whereby UN sees it that no, you cannot just go under the guise of just let's name him an ambassador, then you give him an immunity, nobody prosecutes him. If the UN can actually pressure the ICC and say no, these people are actually have committed a crime in their country, you cannot allow them to become a diplomat. They must be accountable for their crime. So it should just be the case, because this is a global community. We should look out for each other, because right now Russia is being called out for what they are doing to Ukraine. Why shouldn't Nigeria be called out for actually nominating these people? You're nominating them as ambassadors. Why? If they are really innocent people, let them
go to trial.
Let them go to trial and prove their case. I guess that should be the...
In reference to the Russia-Ukraine
war
debacle, as I call it, the UN chief has called for an end to nuclear blackmail and the risk of humanitarian Armageddon.
Well, it hurts me bad that after decades of the Berlin Wall has been brought down, we're still faced with another nuclear saga, because you cannot allow this to go on for this much, because what Putin is putting the whole world is actually on the edge, because no one knows if he's psychologically okay. Because one does not, because of recent, his ally, his daughter was killed. So you don't know what is actually going. Maybe he's trying to disuse as a revenge or something. So one should actually look at Putin's health, his psyche, and look at what actually his position will be if actually he eventually decides to kick his generals to say, go ahead and press the button.
In terms of psyche, I think at this point it's clear he's a psychopath now. There's no
That's what I'm looking at. One needs to actually go closer and know exactly what is going on in Putin's mind, because a nuclear war at this time will have the whole global community.
Yes. I mean, the world is yet to recover from the Hiroshima bomb.
Even from COVID-19.
So I think this is not the time. We don't need, a nuclear war right now. We don't need that in the country. For us as Nigerians, because it is going to affect Nigerians.
Just imagine that it is just neighboring country decides to detonate its nuclear.
It is going to affect the entire region from Belarus.
We don't even have bunkers in Nigeria. They're private citizens.
So why should we be running to bunkers when we can actually be at peace with each other?
True.
Why can't Putin just shield his sword and say, okay, let's come to the
I think again it comes down to dialogue and being, because he has been open. They've been dialoguing with him. They've been talks with him. So I think it's a question of a proper dialogue with all the stakeholders, with NATO, Putin, Zelensky. I think all of them need to come to the table, and the peacekeeping missions. Then there's no better time to act than now, and let them dialogue. And I feel like whatever issues they have, it should be resolved amicably. It might not reverse the damage that has been done. It will not bring back the lives that have been lost, but it's going to prevent more damage and more lives from being lost.
I think Guterres, the UN Secretary General, actually is speaking from experience, because everyone knows, if you know what is called Putins Playbook, he might actually decide to just release one of his nuclear arsenals just to see what the world will do. So that's why they actually say no, an end to nuclear blackmail. That's what the UN is calling.
I think, like I said, I think it all comes to dialogue, because at this point it doesn't look like Putin is listening to anybody. It doesn't look like he seems to be in a world of his own and living out his fantasies, his imaginations. So I don't think he can be pressured
you don't play fantasy with a nuclear
yes, but that's
power.
What we're saying. He does not look, and again, this rests on the Russian people, because what we might see is the Russian people getting tired of this war. that
They are tired already.
yes,
IG.
and there
You
might
could
be
see
an
the borders of
impeachment.
Russia.
Yeah,
The borders of
actually-
Russia is witnessing outflow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of
And not
meals.
inflow.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so do you think that there might be an impeachment, there might be, a rising up against Putin's government?
Well, if you're going for an impeachment with Putin, you have people who are actually enjoying the benefits of this whole war from Putin.
Yeah, but the Russian people are also paying the price,
I
and Putin is a democratically elected president.
Supposedly.
Supposedly, and you should remember that Putin has adjusted the constitution of the country severally. And what is he doing? He's actually making himself more powerful.
So something has to be done for the sake of, first of all, the people who have elected him there as the leaders. Because let's face it, Russian citizens have faced sanctions and attacks for things that they might not even be party to. Bans and sanctions. They cannot be at the World Cup.
You don't speak against the Kremlin. You don't protest in Russia. Once you even raise a placard in Russia, you're arrested. You have, even now that he's trying to actually call for prisoners to be released into the public, you can see that what he's trying to do is the same people he arrested, and simply are trying to draft into your military.
I think I was even referring to the banning of Russian citizens or Russian nationals from participating in several sports or from entering certain countries.
Yeah, in Qatar, they're actually trying to restrict Russians from coming to Qatar because the World Cup is going to be.
So we're seeing the ordinary citizens paying the price.
Exactly.
We do hope President Putin has a rethink. We hope they're able to get through to him and they're able to reach some kind of understanding that makes sure that Russia and Ukraine are coexisting peacefully.
Well, I hope, like in our stories this morning, I also hope that President Buhari, the Minister of Works and Labour, the Minister of Education, and the whole lot of ministers have a
the entire cabinet
and beginning to take Nigerians serious.
All right, that's the much that we can take today on Headline Roundup. Do join us again. We hope you've had an amazing time. Join us tomorrow, same time, right here on AtikuLive.
Yeah, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. My name remains Ikoku Chidozie Ikemba.
And I'm Ijoma Odumodu.
And I'm Michael Pepple.
Bye.